Well, I hope you guys can handle another brief photographic memory tour from Davidsfarm. We'll call this one my creations, well, mostly my creations from over 20 years ago. Just a few photos that aren't in albums. Well, there I am at age 9 on my very first go-kart I ever made. It's got 4 baby buggy wheels on it, and you push that front axle back and forth with your feet to steer it, and also pull on those ropes to help steer it. So when you got going fast, you lifted your feet up to the middle and just steered with the ropes. It was kind of touchy, but we had a big hill just 1 block away. It was awesome. Then when I was 15, I learned how to weld at high school. Got an old CCM bike and put a 3 horsepower 1965 Clinton lawnmower engine on it, 2-stroke, converted it to run on its side, and this thing was awesome. I jumped that thing so much it would do wheelies and catwalks. I broke so many sets of forks, drove it summer and winter. I had people offer to trade me just about everything for it. One person showed me a loaded handgun and when I was 15 years old and said, "I'll trade you this handgun for your bike." And that was strange, but anyways, I didn't take the offer. Also, when I was 15, I made this go-kart completely from scratch in high school. Designed it and built it myself. It's had an 8 horsepower Briggs & Stratton motor on it. Finished it in the wintertime. Then, later that year, I modified it a little bit and I put auxiliary gas tank on. I put a GM AC alternator on, and lights and fenders and horn. There's what it looked like from the other view. And there's my bike and it together. Eventually sold that because I made a faster go-kart, which is here. This one I made when I was 16 in high school. Has a 450cc Honda Hellcat 2-cylinder street bike motor with a 5-speed transmission. There's the exhaust pipe sticking out the back. This thing would do wheelies too. It was 45 horsepower, electric start. The big scoops there are for air cooling for the motor. I actually still have this thing. It's actually just behind that wall, covered in a tarp, but really rusty and hasn't been started for 15 years. The tires are all flat and cracked now. There you can see those air scoops a lot better. You see the gear shifter there on the side. 1 forward, 4 back. And there's what I looked like when I was 16. Sweet. Well, I didn't make this, but I made it beautiful. This was my very first car, 1973 Cadillac Sedan DeVille with a 472 V8 4-barrel. I was doing the ball joints in this picture and sanding the body to get it ready to paint. There's a side shot of it. I drove it for a few years until I saw advertised in the newspaper that in 1 year gas would go up to probably $1 a gallon. Oh my God, I was so scared that no one would drive an 8-cylinder car with gas at $1 a gallon. So I sold it. Gee, I wish it was $1 a gallon now. Well, then when I was 20 years old and was taking my machinist course in high school, not high school, in college, I built 2 motorized skateboards with Remington 33cc chainsaw motors on them. I still have both of them. The first one here is working fine. The second one is fire damage from my barn fire. Then when I was 23, decided to build a car. 1935 Mercedes. It's not a real one. I made it from scratch. It's a back view. I have this still at my building, stored. It hasn't been driven in 9 years. Nothing's wrong with it. There it is. I'm painting the fenders and body panels one by one, then installing them. I think in 2010 I'll finally get that car out. The Mustang's not mine. And there I am at the tender age of 23 years old, posing with my car finally completed in my backyard. Just built it in my garage. Front shot. One of the few shots I have with the top up. And here I am 10 years, more than 10 years later, with my kids, which I didn't have back then. I wasn't even married then. There's my son when he was 11 in my car. Back shot from the same day. There's my Aries wagon. I think this was taken around 99 or 2000. And remember my hoarding disorder? Look at all those lawnmowers in my backyard. That's a friend of mine helping me fix them. I was so busy. There's a shot from standing on the roof of my garage looking down from the other direction the same day. Oh my God. There's nothing back there now, just my tractor. And this is something I started to build when I was 22. A real airplane, a quickie. The tail was taken off there. I was getting it ready to paint. Motor was running, had a brand new motor. Well, unfortunately, I never got a chance to fly it, even though I got my pilot's license. My building burnt down at the farm and it got destroyed. Oh well. You can look them up on the internet, Q1 Quickie. And my icon on my video, on my channel I mean, my kitty, her name was Mom. Aw, she's dead now. She died of old age. Well, it's winter time. This will have to do. Thanks for